Welcome to NBA Fandom. This is an independent NBA podcast which was created by fans for fans. This show is hosted by Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the NBA at all times and other sports-related topics. This is more than just a show, it's a movement. Be part of it.
This is episode 2 of our spin-off podcast known as the NBA Fandom. I'm your host, Blackwell. Hope all our listeners out there are doing well. Glad to be joined by my co-host, Flo. How you doing, Flo?
I'm great today. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. I'm also glad to be joined by my fellow coach, Danny D. How you doing, Danny D?
What's going on, LA?
I'm all right, fellas. I'm all right. It's episode 2 of NBA Fandom. Got a lot to talk about, listeners. Glad y'all could be a part of it. And let's get it going. NBA Tip-Off is our first segment. And to start things off, LeBron James.
LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James, LeBron James.
The king himself, self-proclaimed, dropped 57 points, a.k.a. a double nickel plus 2, and did this against the highly talkative Wizards who talked a lot of stuff before the game started. This allowed the Cavs to snap a 4-game losing streak by a combined 63 points. What are your thoughts, guys? Starting with you, Flo.
LeBron James played like a beast. He is the best player in the game. The biggest thing I had a problem with LA, and I think we talked about this during the game, what was Scott Brooks doing? Because you have LeBron James just posting up John Wall or any other Wizards player that was shorter than LeBron. He was posting them up, and he was getting busy. I mean, he really destroyed the Wizards single-handedly by himself. Excellent job by LeBron James. Excellent job. The Cavs needed that victory. He stepped it up. They deserve that W.
Definitely did. We did talk about that. And they had the chance to win the game. You know, it was a close game, but LeBron's like that. You know, I always joke with certain things when it comes to LeBron. But, you know, he is the best player on the planet right now. And when he's in that mode, forget about it. It's like beast mode right there. What you thought about it, Danny D?
Yeah, he had to play that way. He started playing back to the basket. He's like, yo, no more jump shots. I got to get this W. Because if they'd have lost that one, they really would have been in trouble. And then Brooks, I don't know why Scott Brooks didn't want to put a double team on. I don't know why he was doing single coverage on LeBron. And he made them pay. He's like, you know, I'm 6'8". He's like, yo, no time for bully ball. I got to go straight to the basket, Karl Malone style. I got to get busy on y'all cats tonight.
Oh, most definitely. And this is what you wanted to see. You know, right now they're struggling with injuries. They don't have Isaiah Thomas back yet. And, you know, they're struggling with their shooting as well. And this is what the star players get paid star player money for. You know, this is why you call the best player on the planet. And the biggest thing was, like, the Wizards doing a lot of chirping, man. Somebody they was scared of him or some respect. Somebody they kind of ducked him last year, lost a couple games, so we had to play him into like the finals, which they didn't even make. So, or the Eastern Conference. But, you know, when you got the game on the line and it's time to step up, Wizards couldn't do it. Even though they say they're not scared of him, and that's what they reported. A lot of reporters have stated. But, you know, you got to put up, you got to do what you need to do. And on some level, I guess the Wizards could look at and say, well, he needed 57 points to beat us. And that's one thing you could look at as kind of a good thing on their regard, but also says something that y'all don't have nobody that can stop him. Not like anybody can, but you don't have him on that team. And this is without Isaiah Thomas right now, you know. That's something else to think about as well. But, you know, he definitely did his thing. And I like what he said after the game. I don't know if y'all saw he's walking in the tunnel. Did y'all guys see that?
No.
Okay. Check it out, and listeners as well. It's like maybe a minute clip. But you can see him. He was basically saying, you know, I'm not about losing. Although some people got on and said you did lose some finals, but that's besides the point. He's talking about overall, he's not a loser. He had to do what he had to do. And it was just like, you can really see he's in control of where he want to be. He's saying that he felt healthy, as good as he felt in a lot of years. And it's a lot different from some of the players you see right now that's still trying to find their game, like the Giannis and all those guys. He knows his game. He knows what he need to do. It's just about being able to do it. And, you know, make sure to check it out. You know, something to see. And he's very calm and, like, he felt comfortable what he had to do out there. So, you know, much respect to LeBron James in that game. Definitely was a good game. Definitely saw, King do his thing. Can't argue with him with that game. And for the next topic regarding the NBA sound off, NBA tip off, I want to see what you guys thought about the early play of certain teams this season regarding the Pistons, who are 7-3, the Magic 6-3, and the Thunder's at 4-4. Only other team that might come to your mind right now. What are y'all thinking about the early up and downs of some of these teams? Starting with you, Danny D.
Like I told you before, man, the Pistons, like I said, man, they making the playoffs. I told y'all.
We got it right down.
Out there. Coach right there. They're getting busy. Surprise too, Magic, because I didn't have them nowhere that, but the Magics are playing quite well because the transformation of Aaron Gordon. This guy, dunk contest co-winner in my eyes. This guy is stretching the floor now. He's shooting threes. It's like they're trying to be a modern day Golden State out here on the East Coast.
Yeah, they're looking good, man. Even Evan Fournier, he's looking good too out there.
Yeah.
The only thing with them is that point guard. It's the same thing, when the Knicks, when they point guard don't play well, they don't play well. And they had a big loss the other night when DJ Augustine was hurt again and he couldn't play. But they both have Elfrid Payton coming back soon. I don't know how well that's going to work for them either. What you think about it so far, Flo, some of these up and downs of some of these teams?
Well, with the Pistons at 7-3, the biggest reason why they're at 7-3 is Andre Drummond is knocking out free throws. That's definitely is a big help. And the addition of Avery Bradley Jr. In regards to the Magics, I am surprised that they're 6-3. Aaron Gordon, I thought he was going to be the second coming of Blake Griffin, but now he's expanding his game, knocking down threes. But the Thunder at 4-4, a little bit surprising. They should have beat Boston on Friday night, and they choked in the second half. Shame on them.
Yeah, they had that game. I watched that one. And, Melo struggled in that game. And they're struggling to find where everybody likes the ball. Melo got to be more than just a jump shooter. That's the thing I'm noticing as well. And, also, looking back at the Pistons look good because they got a lot of weapons when they guys play well. With Reggie Jackson dropping 20-something, Avery Bradley dropping 20-something. And then you also have your guy, Mr. Tobias Harris, Flo. So, when those guys are all scoring, and like you said, with Andre Drummond doing well in the paint and grabbing rebounds, actually hitting free throws, that's a lot coming at you. Also with Stan Van Gundy, his defensive philosophies. So when they're playing well, they got a lot of weapons right there. It's just about size with them to me. I'm just a little worried with Avery Bradley and that backcourt, with Reggie Jackson. I don't know how it's going to, do well come playoff time. But, we have to see as that goes along. Magic, like I said, also didn't expect them to play as well as they have either. But it's still early, guys. Same thing with Cleveland. They're struggling right now. But it's still very, very early in the season. But we're trying to see some of the things, see where some of the fans and listeners could look at going forward. And that's pretty much it for our first segment. Our next segment is Off the Cuff. And Off the Cuff is basically where we pick a main topic to discuss that we find interesting, pertains to NBA, that we like to present for discussion and or debate. First up, Danny D, you got anything for Off the Cuff today?
Off the cuff, I'm going to talk to your boy Kyrie. Kyrie and the Celtics are doing very, 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 very well right now. They're leading in the East. And they had a sit down with Kyrie. He had an interview. So they had an interview with Kyrie on appearing on Holding the Court with Gino Auriemma. And these are quotes. This is what, quote unquote, this is what Kyrie Irving had to say about his new coach, Brad Stevens. He's saying it was unbelievable craving to find a tactical partner like Brad Stevens, according to Bleacher Report. Brad Stevens fits perfectly in the terms of that because he's an intellectual mind, and as is an intellectual human being, Irving said. It was something I was unbelievably craving in the terms of what I need for my career. And I wouldn't want to be with another coach. I don't know if if Kyrie Irving wants to date him, because this is what he said. Because he's an intellectual, and he is that of a high character guy. He's growth oriented, and he wants what's best for the team. He's realistic about his goals and about the mission. That's who he is. He's a smart individual that knows basketball. And Jeff Van Gundy didn't like that. Because basically what he's saying is that, what was Tyronn Lue then? So you're basically you're downplaying Tyronn Lue. So Jeff Van Gundy said he really didn't appreciate what Kyrie said, and that he basically thinks that he's taking a passive-aggressive role to play down Tyronn Lue and his coaching abilities. How do you feel about that?
Basically saying Tyronn Lue that you're just so lame. That's what he's telling them. As we don't like Tyronn Lue too much, as we spoke about. He has his deficiencies as a coach, but you basically really threw him under the bus and rolled over him 2 times. So that's something to think about. Also, it's still the honeymoon period, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, slow down, Kyrie. It ain't even been the All-Star break yet, and you're already throwing a bunch of, daisies and flowers towards him. So I'm like, can you wait till you get to like the playoffs or at least the All-Star break? A little not the best thing you want to see from your leader, But, what do you think about it, Flo?
LA, I gotta agree with Van Gundy's comments. Basically, Kyrie's throwing Coach Lue under the bus. Right now, it's Kyrie versus the Cavs. You can see he's taking this personal. He was happy to move on. He's happy he got his trade. He's pissed. The reason why he was pissed is because the trade rumors of him being traded on draft day for Paul George, and he felt like LeBron was backing this trade proposal. So Kyrie's like, you know what? You might as well trade me. I don't want to be here. So nobody wants me here. Let me get out of here. So move me. So right now it's personal with the Cavs and Kyrie. It's real personal. You can tell. Comments Kyrie made against that Philly game. I'm not going to repeat the statement he made when a fan asked him, "Where's LeBron?" This is a PG-13 show, so I'm not going to repeat what he mentioned. So again, it's real personal. You can really see it's real personal.
Yeah, I can see it, but it's like you made it personal as well, You didn't want to be here, and you stated it, and you got what you wanted. You didn't even go to a horrible team, which they could have sent you to. So it's like, where you want to be, then it's like, just worry about where you're at right now than me. You lead your team. Your team is like one of the top teams right now. So it's like, embrace that and let's move on. Anything else you want to add to that, Danny D?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you're big enough Brad Stevens. I know he's your new coach, but like I said, I'm not dating him. It's still a business. You know what I'm saying? Like if they ask me what's going on, what you think about Brad? Brad's cool. We get along. That's it. Next question. I don't have to go in depth about it.
Yeah, it sounds like when you're in a relationship, you still talking about the ex stuff a lot.
Yeah.
So slow down, man. Be good now. I ain't gotta put everything on Instagram, Facebook all day. Let you know we're happy. I don't get it.
That's what I'm saying. Because, when I went to get the timeout, LeBron wanted to get me the ball, and then Tyronn Lue wouldn't set up. That's why I like Brad, because he's so smart.
Okay. We see what happens when y'all play in the playoffs and see y'all get knocked out by the Cavs. So we'll see as we go along. Thank you, Danny D. How about you, Flo? You got anything for us?
LA, the only thing I have is just, again, the trade rumors are circulating with the Phoenix Suns point guard, Eric Bledsoe, going to Detroit for point guard Reggie Jackson, the first-round pick. Gentlemen, what's your take on this? If this is a so-called trade rumor?
We've been talking about Bledsoe before. There's a lot still surrounding them. What you think about it, Danny D?
Eric Bledsoe will be an upgrade over Reggie. They get that and they get a pick. It sounds good. It sounds good to me. But at the same thing, I wouldn't want to mess up the chemistry right now with the Pistons. They're going good, so we'll have to see how Eric fits into the system right now. But then again, it's still early in the season, so they can afford to do it.
Okay. Just one thing I would add to that, Stan Van Gundy about it, the coach of the Detroit Pistons and basically the president of operations over there. And he said, no, that's not going to happen. He said, I usually don't address this, but it's early in the season, and I really don't want this to distract us when we're trying to do, not quoting them. And he said, it's not going to happen. He said, Reggie's staying, and we just going to move on from there. They asked Reggie Jackson, not going to call him. But he basically said, everybody's media nowadays, so you can't really take this as too legitimate. He's not worried about it. He's here, and he's going to do the best he can basically for his team, and not so many words. But, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. But we'll see as time goes along. Me, personally, I I really wouldn't do that move just because I don't know. It's like I like Bledsoe, but I don't know if he's a better fit for them than what Reggie Jackson does for them right now. And it's like you've been working with Reggie Jackson, you kind of know the offense, and you want to see what he can bring. And the only thing I worry about Bledsoe is an injury. Same thing with Reggie Jackson, too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing that's kind of a wash to me right now. I don't know how much you have to give to get it. I don't know if it work money-wise, but, you know, I don't see really the big plus either way, you know, looking at it overall. But for me, the top of that half or off the cuff is just a little article I saw the other day as regarding Giannis. I just call it the Greek Freak. And basically his article was by Adam London. And he basically was talking about Giannis and the big city and markets. And it was basically asking him, where does he see him being, like where he would like to go in the future, even though he's still tied with the Milwaukee Bucks. And he basically said, and I quote, I'm a low-profile guy. I don't like all these flashy cities like L.A. or Miami. I don't know if I could be the same player if I played in those cities. Bucks were glad to hear about this. But I want to ask you guys, what do you think about this? Do you think this is going to be a trend? Or do you think there's something that, like, as Knicks fans, is something we have to worry about with KP or just other players throughout the league? It's like the big market edge that a lot of teams used to have, the L.A., New York. Is that basically dead? Or because of the global market that we have now and the internet and all these other social media that everybody know who everybody is, even in the smallest markets? Or do you think we have a resurgence down the road and players are going to come back to the big markets, teams such as like Kyrie wanted to go to a big market team and things of that nature, or even LeBron going to Miami? So starting with you, Dan D, what you think about this?
It depends. It really depends on how, because like you said before, we always talk about it. We always talk about this, the AAU bracket. It depends on who's on these big market teams. So if Giannis, if Milwaukee wasn't good and they sucked right now and they wasn't going to make the playoffs, Giannis would leave. And if he had an opportunity to go to a big market team, whether he know he could win, he would leave and go to a big market team and get the money and go. So it really depends on who's on it, how that player plays, how many years he got left on his contract, and so on and so on. Because if I'm a KP and somebody wants to come and play with me, I'm gonna stay. But if I know I'm on a losing team, like say if I'm stuck somewhere like a Denver or I'm stuck somewhere in the bottom like Atlanta, I'm gonna leave. Big market or small market, I want to leave because I want to win.
I totally agree with you. How about you, Flo? What you think about that?
No, actually, I agree with D on this one. It really depends because, again, they're winning, and it seems like he loves Jason Kidd as his coach. I don't think he has any issues with the organization overall. He seems happy. He's a low-key guy. Doesn't seem like he likes the attention, you know, like a LeBron James receiver, et cetera, et cetera. So he's just a quiet superstar. In terms of, is this going to be a trend? No. I think when all said and done, you're going to start to see some players eventually down the road start drifting towards the big market teams eventually. It's just going to take some time, but it'll get there. Give it a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Thank you, Flo. I agree with you as well. I think it's more of a, like you said, Danny D, it depends on the circumstances, but I think it mainly depends on the individual player. I think the player is really going to look at where they're coming from and their history. Like if you came from a foreign country like KP, I don't think he's so much worried about small market. I mean, this whole market is big to him. So I don't think he's really looking at it in that same way. Also, I think some players, like you said, it depends on who's on that team. Like you had KD, he went from a small team, basically market-wise, to a much bigger team. But the pressure really wasn't on him because you had so many other stars waiting for you. So it could be a big market, but like if you have enough stars around you, I don't think it's going to affect you the same way. Versus like if you're a big star going to another big team with you the only main piece. I think that's where you have to worry about those type of things. And some players going to embrace that. Just like I think Kyrie really does embrace wanting to be a star and wanting to be known by the whole league and not be really in LeBron's shadow. I think there's other players out there that's the same way. So I think it really depends on individual and depends on what type of team you set up. And also a lot of times it depends on the history of a team, in my eyes. Like if that team won, whether it's small or big, and they won a lot maybe like a Lakers that might make a player run away from it versus you could be a star on a team and make your own legacy. If a team hasn't won in a lot of years like the Knicks or something like that, and you will be the face of that franchise for a while. So, like I said, it depends on individual to me. That's the way I look at it. But thank you, guys. Appreciate your thoughts regarding Off the Cuff. And that brings us right to our next segment, which is known as Hot Topics. And our hot topic for today, fellas, is us against the world. And this is a hypothetical question. Basically, if you had to make the best starting lineup, and if you could pick any of the top 5 players in the NBA to go against any other team in the world, which top 5 player would you pick in the present NBA and why? Basically, NBA versus the Monstars 2.0 for the fate of the world. Your opinion, guys, only. Starting with you, Danny D. What you think about who's your top 5 looking at this us against the world?
Top 5 us against the world. This is my top 5. I'm going point guard. I'm switching it up. I'm putting Ben Simmons as my point guard. My shooting guard, I'm going to put Steph Curry. My third small forward, I'm going LeBron. Giannis Antetokounmpo is my power forward. And Carl Anthony Towns is my center. Because this is the world, man. I can't take no chances, guys. Can't take no chances, man.
Oh, this is gonna be funny.
Can't take no chances, man.
So can you say your 5 one more time, Danny D, for the listeners? Make sure they got it and make sure I got it.
Ben Simmons. Right. Ben Simmons. Steph Curry. LeBron. Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Carl Anthony Towns as my center.
Okay. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. We might not meet annihilation, Armageddon style. What about you, Flo? Who you got?
All right, LA, I'm going to go with Russell Westbrook as my point guard because John Wall's been doing too much talking. Shooting guard, Klay Thompson. Small forward, LeBron James. Power forward, I'm going to go with Porzingis. And center, I'm going with Boogie, DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh, Lord. we in trouble. This ain't going to get technical. He going to get us thrown out the game. Oh, man. Oh, he might be 4 on 5, fellas. Nah, you can't dispute his talent, man. Nice pick. I could definitely see some of those. Oh man, this question had me going back and forth for a while. I thought it'd be a little easier than I thought it'd be, but in the end, oh man, it was tough. Because I kept going back and forth between like 2 or 3 guys, and LBJ, he was the first one I picked at small forward. And then I also picked Giannis. I also picked him at the power. And I picked Steph Curry. And I picked Anthony Davis. And then I picked as well Ben Simmons. So that's how I was doing it with the point guard position. I kept going back and forth. I was thinking about James Harden as there, but then I got nervous. I'm like, he ain't too good in the clutch. So I was kind of go back and forth between that guy. So I kind of did the same thing with that regards, but I picked Anthony Davis and Giannis. And I picked on LeBron and Curry. So that was my pick, fellas. What's your thoughts regarding anybody picks overall? One thing I did see, I was wondering why you picked Thompson there, Flo. For the defense, the shooting, what was your thinking with that one?
Well, the thing is, you said present NBA. Because I forgot, because I originally had Kobe. Now you said present. So I said, you know what? I had to decide between James and Klay. And I said, you know what? I'm going with Klay because Klay is going to give me defense. Not only defense, he can guard at least all 5 positions on the floor. So that's very important. So that's why I was able to make my decision real quickly on that.
Okay. Yeah, Kobe said, I'm here to save the day, man. He'd be ready to throw people down and take that spot. But go ahead, Flo.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off. With the power forward position, it came down to Greek Freak and Porzingis, and I went with Porzingis.
Yeah,
it wasn't easy. It was
an
easy choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because Porzingis playing so well right now, and he also has size to block shots and things of that nature. But I just went with Anthony Davis just because of what he does as a total package, depending on who you would play against. Because I figured it'd be other NBA players on that respect. It just makes sure I didn't want the other team picking the player I didn't pick. That's the thing I was looking at too.
Well, what was funny about this LA is that those are the three players I had in mind at the center position between Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis, and Cousins. And I said to myself, you know what? I would go with Towns, but again, he didn't show up against Davis and Boogie in New Orleans, so I scratched him out. So they came down with DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis. And I said, you know what? I'll just go with the veteran, DeMarcus Cousins, because he always stays healthy as opposed to Anthony Davis, who's always hurt. So
yeah, that's true too. And that was the thing I kept looking at with Ben Simmons and Harden. If I was doing like a regular lineup, I would put Harden over Simmons just for like 2-guard thing. But you have to go small with that lineup and just try to do the best you can with it and just do a lot of switching with it. But anything else you want to add there, Danny D?
No, not really. That's I can see what everybody had their choices and come through. Because as you know, this is it, man. This is for the world, man. This is it.
That's it. I'm trying to see another day. You know, that's how we do. But, listeners, make sure you make up your list. You can send us on our Twitter account as well, NBAFan247@gmail.com. Make sure to put that out there. And, compare notes. See what y'all think, where y'all agree and where y'all disagree. But that was our hot topic for the day. And that brings us into our closing remarks for today's show, fellas. What's your closing remarks for today, Flo, if you have any?
LA, I want to thank you and D for allowing me to be part of this great show, NBA Fandom. For all the listeners, thank you so much. Please tell a friend to subscribe. This is the second episode. This is a spinoff from the Knicks Fandom show. We definitely need you guys to subscribe. Tell a friend. Check us out on YouTube, iTunes, Spreaker. We definitely need the love and the support. We definitely need it. This is a show this is not really a show. This is really a movement, like LA mentioned. It's a movement.
Exactly. And be a part of it, man. This is good times we're gonna have coming ahead. A lot of things for our listeners to look forward to. How about you, Danny D? What you got for closing remarks for today?
I want to thank you guys and thank the listeners. Keep on subscribing and spreading the love.
Much appreciated. And like Flo said, we're found on Spreaker. We also found on iTunes and Stitcher as well. And we're also on TuneIn. So we're everywhere you will find podcasts. Make sure to spread the word. As always, much appreciated, guys. Couldn't do without y'all. Thanks again, listeners. Much appreciated as well. Keep tuning in. We got a lot of things for you. Take care. Have a good one.